Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another night of NGS action. We are in Season 11, Week 5 in Division C West tonight, and we've got a fantastic matchup between Cannot Counterpick Stupid and Bloodbath and Beyond. Both teams having three names. Three words, I guess. Three words in their name. My name is Isaacs. I am bringing you the match tonight. I just got done with my own match a little while ago, and so I am ready and amped up for another series. Can't get enough of the HOTS action, so without further ado, let's get you all over to the map overview. So tonight, it was Can't Counterpick Stupid that won the coin toss. They elected to get first pick, meaning Bloodbath and Beyond started our bans and map picks. Bloodbath and Beyond banning out Altaric Pass and Dragonshire. Can't Counterpick Stupid banned out Cursed Hollow and Tomb of the Spider Queen. And our first map we're going to is Battlefield of Eternity, one of my favorite maps to cast. Those who are veterans of this channel know how much I love a map like Battlefield of Eternity. I'm super excited. We got Willard in the chat. Yo, Wood League Express representing loved one teams. Come out and support other teams. Absolutely love it. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Both these teams are in the lobby. I am just waiting for all the ready to come out, and we already have one team saying that they are ready, waiting for this second team to go ahead and give us the ready sign, and we will jump in to this first match. Battlefield of Eternity, gonna be one of those fun maps where you get to see how the draft develops and teams flexing off of certain builds onto other ones, depending upon how their draft is sizing up against the opponent's draft, mainly in the category of race. Racing down those immortals seems to be what most of these teams try and build their compositions around. However, there are definitely other ways to approach the draft phase. You can go for an excellent siege composition and out siege your opponents while they try and do the burn. You can go for just a straight up team fight composition where, hey, if the other team is dead, then we're going to have an easy time racing the opponent there. So, there's multiple ways to do this. So I've seen all three kind of compositions come out and have success on the map. We'll see what these two teams elect to go for here. How we're going to do the bans could be just the race bans like the Rainer Greymane, like the Vala, like the Artanis. We could see all those come out, or we could see different champions coming out that are more focused on the team fight aspect or just the meta bans. Mini Paxia redeeming that take a drink man. I've been getting that a lot lately because people know once the match gets started, I go crazy and don't stop talking. Willard getting another redemption of the take a drink. I will take a drink for both of you real quick of my water that I've got, and I made sure to fill it up, so give me 1 second. There we go. 2 drinks of water down the hatch, and our first ban has come out. It is Chromie, one of those strong mage champions, going to be banned out here. Not going to see the Nexus on the map of Battlefield of Eternity, having so much potential in the meta with the potential to zone off with the Sands. Willard coming in with the subscribe with the Prime. Thank you so much, Willard, for that subscription. I appreciate it so much. All donations are definitely appreciated. If you want to know where those donations go, check out the tab. They're all going towards my kid anyway for his college fund. So got a nice little start of that going. Do appreciate it. And you will absolutely get to enjoy your emotes once I get them uploaded. They have been finalized. There's just a few edits being made, and then they will get uploaded for you guys. But going back to the map, we've got Cassia getting banned out here. We got Li Ming getting banned out, another good race potential champion, and Johanna being that final ban, kind of being the answer to that race potential, being able to throw out the blinds and prevent a lot of champions from having that race potential. It can be a very safe defender with the Iron Skin, but we do see Celadorn locking in the Rainer, the race potential already showing for Can't Counterpick Stupid, Stukov immediately picked up right there, and Greymane being picked up as well. Jaratar saying, shout out to my third grade teacher, Miss Eaton. Miss Eaton, thank you so much for being Jaratar's third grade teacher. We definitely appreciate that one. And thank you so much for everybody. It seems like it's just coming in like waterfalls right now. Lots of follows. I do appreciate all the follows. If you love HOTS as much as I do, this is a great channel to get some casts. Also getting some commentary about Wood League, loving the cast. Absolutely. I enjoy casting all teams. It's a pleasure of mine. I'm just so thankful that I get to do this. So we did see the Sonya and Sylvanas picked up by the side of Counterpick Stupid. So going for the double auto attacker, Sylvanas going to be able to siege very well with this Immortal coming out if they are able to win the Immortal phase. Meanwhile, Sonya going to be that bully up in the top lane, be able to get some pretty good wave pressure to press the advantage for some possible rotation play and set up for camp success. So we're going to see Osprey in the top lane on that Sonya, going to be able to put out a lot of pressure. We'll see how Bloodbath and Beyond decides to respond. Will they pick up like a Leoric to be that anti-bruiser and also provide a lot of devastating wombos with the Stukov? Will they pick up something a little safer like a Rexar who can do fairly well against the Sonya, actually cause her a bit of chaos and also be a little more aggressive in the team fighting phase? But ETC getting banned out by Bloodbath and Beyond, and Garrosh being return banned by Counterpick Stupid. A lot of focus going in on these tank pools here. May gonna be the one that is picked up for Bloodbath and Beyond. Has excellent defense potential all the way around the Immortal. Ice Queen Baby coming in with the subscription on Prime. Thank you so much for the subscription. Absolutely appreciate it, guys. I wish I had all of my notifications turned on, but unfortunately when I stream, I turn them off due to the fact that I don't want to take away from the excellent contest that goes between these two teams. But I do see it, I do recognize it, and I do appreciate it very much. Thank you so much. Enjoy your your emotes when they get here. Meanwhile, Artanis picked up by Bloodbath and Beyond here. Artanis gonna be able to use that blind to prevent the Raynor and Sylvanas burn potential, give his team a little more team fight ability. And we do see the Murden and Malfurion being locked in by the side of Counterpick Stupid. Murden going to be able to provide a lot of that engage potential, doing the Dwarf Toss followed up by the Stormbolt to stun and lock down a target like the Greymane or the Stukov and say, Sylvanas and Raider, get them. Meanwhile, Malfurion going to have the follow-up route for whatever target Malfurion wants and also be able to silence the Mei when she tries to potentially engage here. Orphea being locked in as that final assassin coming out of Bloodbath Beyond. Orphea definitely known for the amount of burst damage she can put out when paired with a champion like ETC, can also combo really well. Stukov may be able to set her up with the root, may definitely will with an avalanche be able to put some crushing jaws on top of those people popping out of that giant snowball there. So looking at these teams, we got a lot of race coming in on both teams. We got a lot of anti-burn and we've got a lot of siege potential. But if I had to give a slight nod to one of these two teams with their team comps that they have decided to build, I'm going to give that nod slightly in advantage of Bloodbath and Beyond here. That doesn't mean they're going to win. I just like their draft a little bit more, a little bit of playmaking potential coming out there. But if the side of Counterpick Stupid can utilize that Sylvanas and that Raynor to be able to burn really fast and, you know, avoid the team fight pressure that's going to be coming out of Bloodbath and Beyond, then they have a nasty siege composition with that Immortal coming out with the Hyperion and the passive from Sylvanas to turn off a lot of the structures here. So both these teams have they have their objectives set up for success. I do like the top lane matchup we've got going on here between Artanis and Sonya. It's going to be a bit of a brawl, giving Sonya a little bit of a nod in there, but the 4-man, I definitely think the early game strength is going to start to favor Bloodbath and Beyond with that Orphea, and then Greymane able to just finish off any target. If they can get a pick with the Mei, that pick target is in a lot of trouble. So here we go. Let's get our fans shouting out in the chat. If you're here to support Counterpick Stupid, throw up your flare. If you're here for Bloodbath and Beyond, make sure you throw your love up for them as well. I will get these two teams introduced to you. On the blue side, we've got Can't Counterpick Stupid. We got Valkymer sitting on that Murden. We got Madathy on the Sylvanas, Kelladorn sitting on the Raynor, Wits End on the Sonya, or on the Malfurion, sorry, and Osprey dancing it up in the top lane on the Sonya. Meanwhile, on the red side, we got Bloodbath and Beyond. We got Polite Gamers sitting on the Mei. We got Captain Robert sitting on the Artanis. Rockham on the Stukov. Wraithling sitting on that Greymane. And Punk RK Pirate. Punker Pirate, I'm guessing, on the Orphea. Looking at these builds, expected as coming out from the Artanis, going to go for that extra burn on the Immortal. Sonya going for that brawlish, making her Seismic Slam just that much more damaging. Murda going to go and stack himself up with the Storm Bolt there. Greymane electing to go for that increased inner duration on his Beast form, so he will be able to continue to burn that Immortal pretty quickly. Not going to go for the resets of the abilities. Mei getting a nice knockback on the Murda and saying, hey, respect the positioning a little bit. I'm here, I'm watching you. But nothing doing there. Murda will be able to use that second wind to keep himself pretty healthy pretty quickly here. And like I said, both of these teams they're probably going to scrap back and forth. I don't necessarily think the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid is going to focus on getting any big playmaking potential in this early game unless they can find the Orphea or the Raynor. But Valkymer's on the hunt. He's dodging a lot. He's got his dancing shoes on. Meanwhile, Mei trying to zone out the damage, and they all go back to square one. In this top lane, we got Captain Roberts on the Artanis, having a little bit of tough time against the Sonya in this early game. As expected, Sonya trading into that Seismic Slam is going to be able to put down the beat on Artanis in the early game. Once Artanis is able to get that level 4 shield online, he will be able to brawl a little bit better against the Sonya. He's still going to have a little bit of a tough time in the early game. Mei getting herself fairly low, does pop the passive to get herself healthy again. Unstoppable is there. Wits End being brought down about half health. Sylvanas getting herself out. Raynor on the run. Orphea quite doesn't finish him off. Almost there, was able to get him completely bursted down, but nice low damage, low HP bars on the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid, and Bloodbath and Beyond recognize it, go for this camp in the bot lane. Stukov did have to back, so they only have 3 here, so they got to be very careful. It's an interesting time to pick up the camp. They're backing off the camp, knowing they do not have the Stukov. Can't Counterpick Stupid. They didn't scout it out as aggressively as they could have, so they didn't know that Stukov was back. Stukov is here now, and they're able to get the engage. But here we go. We have a contestant over the fight. Mei popping the passive. So our Greymane's sitting asleep in the top lane, so Mei is getting very, very low here, and the camp is actually stolen by the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. Mei still sitting very low. Sylvanas trying to get herself aggressively in position, unable to do so, and this is a pretty good camp steal by Can't Counterpick Stupid. They waited it out patiently. We're waiting for the Stukov to see where he was. He finally got back to the fight, and then aggressively jumped on the point with the Sylvanas at first, and then the Murden to follow, and we're able to take it. It looks like instead of going for their camp, they're setting up for a potential gank, or just setting up for their race. Looks like they're setting up for their race. Camp not picked up by Can't Counterpick Stupid. Orphea finishing it off for the side of Bloodbath and Beyond, so they will have that passive push in the top lane, but they have to respond to this race, because if it goes to the halftime show, they can just go up and clear the top lane during the halftime show. Halftime show is already here. Sonya getting fairly low in an aggressive stance, actually gets herself caught out and goes down. And this is a big play for Bloodbath and Beyond. They're continuing to push, catching out the Murden, gonna go and start defending themselves while this minion camp pushes out in the top lane, setting up the defense, sending Artanis to go burn. Murden getting fairly low, but Orphea unable to land both of the crushing jaws, but does get the follow up on the Q and is able to burn Murden all the way down. Drops a little bit of Orphea flare for good measure, and why not? Orphea being able to put down some serious damage in the early game. A lot of people just cannot sustain with an Orphea's burst if she is able to land everything, and that gives Artanis that much more time to race while the rest of the foremen defend off this Immortal. Sonya jumping in with the stun, does not have it available for any champions. Mei backing off, giving a little respect over. They know that Artanis is burning pretty well now with the Greymane, and they do win the race, end up going in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond, and now they are going to push into this bottom lane. but look what the top lane was able to get. The minion is still alive. Sonya going to get swapped in here. The rest of the team is here to follow up. We got a 5-man gank in the top lane on the Sonya. They aren't able to connect their crowd control so far. Stukov looking. Artanis does take tower aggro. Mei jumping in. Greymane followed right behind. Sonya getting down to about 100 health and will go down, and they're going to push S5 in the top lane. Use the Immortal as bait. Sylvanas and Malfurion starting to rotate up to come up and provide a defense, but it's a little too late. This this fort is very low and does go down. Nice pickup by the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. The Immortal does go down, but they pick up a kill and get an entire fort with the first Immortal. Solid pickup coming out from the red side here. Blue sitting on their heels a bit, didn't get their camp. That was a pretty big cooldown or timer that was missed, unfortunately. Didn't get the passive pressure out in the bot lane, and just because of the fact that that siege minion was able to get the wall, the call was made that, hey, we already got an exposed fort here. Let's just go and see if we can catch this Sonya off and then finish burning down the fort. And it worked out well for the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. So good pickup, but Stukov getting caught way out here. Murden putting the stun down and gonna finish him off. Nice counter kill by the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. The side of Bloodbath and Beyond able to pick up this camp in the top lane, get some more passive pressure, but they will lose the pressure here in the bot lane. Can't Counterpick Stupid picking up the siege camp in the bot lane. And they still are waiting on picking up this Bruiser camp. Looks like they're going to try and just set it up for the timer next time instead of go for the experience and try and get themselves, you know, they're on even talent tiers now. They weren't at the time that they could have gone and picked it up. They were down 6 to 7, but now both teams sitting on their 8, about a quarter level lead in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond. They will get that passive experience due to the fort being down. Meanwhile, Valkyrie getting very low on the Murden. Orphea jumping in very aggressively, does miss the Q, so she won't be able to follow up any further. And everything kind of goes back to square one. Artanis trying to, you know, get himself a little more involved with the Sonya, trying to see if he can start to bully the Sonya around. Sitting very low on the mana pool. While the root goes down onto the Mei, Murda jumps in aggressively. We got a 4-man. Artanis is here. He has no mana, so that can be recognized. He's sitting about half health. Greymane just jumping over the wall, devouring the Sylvanas. Sylvanas does go down. Artanis unable to really join this fight too much, and the Malfurion root used for the disengage. That will be the end of that fight, but a nice pickup by Bloodbath and Beyond on the Greymane, jumping over the wall to finish off that Sylvanas, and now they are able to start the burn, but Murden's not done. He's going to defend, get the stun onto the Artanis, the follow-up. Nice root going down on both the Stukov and Wraithling there. That is a big damage put down by Sonya, but a big biotics kill switch popped by the Stukov to heal everybody back up. Make sure that they survive that burst going down, but Malfurion's positioning was excellent there to be able to land that 2-man root. Unfortunately, it was just Sonya following it up, and she didn't quite have the damage yet to be able to burn that all the way down. Here we go into this attack, the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. I'm just going to start calling him CCS. Man, Artanis almost landed that swap perfectly into the Immortal stun. That would have been a huge swap had that been able to follow up. But Myrna getting fairly low here. Greymane, he decides to jump on the Rainer. He did finish off the Murden, but then he jumped in over onto the Rainer, so that was kind of cool. Sonya getting fairly low will go down to the Orphea, and another 2 kills picked up by Bloodbath and Beyond. Halftime show is here. 10s are online for Bloodbath and Beyond, and we've got Avalanche coming out of the Curse Bullet coming out of the Greymane, Crushing Jaws coming from the Orphea, Shove coming out of the Stukov, and as expected, the Blind, that Suppression Pulse coming out of the Artanis. Sorry, I was going to call it Blinding Pulse. It is called Suppression Pulse. Had to double check that one real quick, but we do see Bloodbath and Beyond picking up their camp. Again, this camp being neglected by the side of CCS, not able to pick it up. Mei doing an excellent job trying to just prevent the burn, and now this Immortal heading to the bot lane to see if they can pick up that second fort. They've got the passive pressure in the top lane. I expect a 5-man push here in the bottom lane with the Immortal, while Sonya has to go and deal with this minion in the top lane. And we do see the rest of the team, Mei and Orphea, backing, get those mana pools just a wee bit higher, setting up for this engage. Artanis did show, so they know that there is a potential 5-man play here in the bot lane, but they've got to be really careful. They only have 4s. 10 just came online. Hyperion popped to provide some sort of disengage. Rainer is swapped into the team. Orphea puts the follow-up damage, but it's not enough. Stun going out onto the Sylvanas, and everybody just kind of disengaging. You know, the side of Bloodbath and Beyond just protecting their Immortal. Now, Stukov will be able to heal everybody back up. The shield is still there. Rainer getting swapped all the way back. Beautiful stun by the Artanis there, getting the Rainer into the backline, saying, here you guys go, enjoy this pick, and this Immortal is continuing to push. It's going to get all this wall down. Sonya is continuing to split push here in the top lane. Meanwhile, the Murden's being put to sleep. Sorry, not the Murden, that was the Artanis. Murden was trying to jump in there, but the Crushing Jaws goes down, does not land. The Immortal still sitting at fairly significant health. Gonna get some shots down on the keep. Stun goes out on the Malfurion. Sonya trying to get her, or Sylvanas getting herself away. Murden getting in, trying to put down any sort of damage onto this backline. Orphea is taking a couple tower shots. Will she take one more? She does not. The Blinding Pulse goes down and gets the Rainer from getting that last auto attack, but Artanis will go down. Orphea committing hard to this keep. They are going to get some kills here. That was a very hard engage coming out. Sonya actually goes down here due to the Stukov getting that last auto attack in there. And, you know, you thought for a second there that Bloodbath and Beyond maybe dove a little too heavy, but can't counterpick stupid. Only able to get the Artanis there, and Bloodbath and Beyond pick up a fort, a keep, and this bottom camp. Excellent second Immortal phase coming out from the red team here. We do see this minion camp being picked up now by Can't Counterpick Stupid. Gonna try and get themselves the experience to get back on that even talent tier. Maybe get a little bit of push in this bot lane. They know the camp has already been picked up, assuming most of the people are in this top lane, can clear out this bot lane pretty safely. They see the Mei. They just need to start pushing out some of these minions, get themselves to the 13. And then really at this point, it's defend. Defend, 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 defend. Don't be the aggressors in this next Immortal fight. Try and find a way to get the other team off of the, on their back foot and get those picks with the Murden and Malfurion. Sylvanas and Rainer have plenty of burst damage. We do see the Mei coming in. This is a 5v4 for the side of Counterpick Stupid. They're not quite on their 13s, but if there ever is a talent to fight down, it is those 13. Malfurion and Sonya being thrown all the way back, and that looked like a disengage ult coming from the Mei, not wanting to pick that fight there, knowing that they had a 5v4. I always comment, if there's ever a talent tier to fight down, 13 is the one you want to do it. It looked like they potentially had a bit of a play make potential, but electing to play for another day, go get their 13s, get on these even talent tiers. Massive shove coming out of the Stukov there, all the way back goes the Murden, and this halftime show will definitely go in favor. Curse Bolt does land on the Murden. Look at his health. It is gone, but Orphea did get stunned. No follow-up. Sylvanas is now here to provide that follow-up damage. Malfurion getting stunned out in the backline there. Sonya trying to bully this Mei around, but unfortunately the health bars have gotten way too low on the side of CCS. They're giving it one last-ditch heroic effort. Malfurion getting swapped in by the Artanis there. Excellent swap. The Hyperion trying to zone everybody away, does not do so, and that is a pickup for Bloodbath and Beyond. And now the positioning heavily favors Bloodbath and Beyond. Side of CCS, they just got to equalize this race potential and get a good defense going in the top lane, and that is what they are going to do. This Immortal is going to be at about half shield when it gets up into this top lane and push down into this keep. Holy smokes, these picks, these Artanis swaps are pretty on point. The Artanis has been able to land at least two critical ones, one onto the Malfurion and one onto the Rainer, in order to swap them right into the middle of his own team and basically special deliver a free kill to Greyman and Orphea, who have just an immense amount of burst damage. And now we see this siege coming out. 16s are about to be online for the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. The passive experience should get them up to that 16, so this is a game-winning push if they're able to find the picks they need around this Immortal. Meanwhile, CCS, they got to just poke safely, get this Immortal shield as low as they can before it gets to the core. The Crushing Jaws go down, does not land onto the Rainer. The Suppression Pulse goes down as well. Avalanche does miss. That's 3 ultimates wasted. The entire side of CCS can just back themselves up. They do get a root onto the Greyman and actually pick up a really good kill there. That's a huge pickup for CCS. If they can disengage successfully here, they have a very good defense. Malfurion does get himself picked off. The rest of the team electing to burn this Immortal down. This Immortal is absolutely melting. It should be easily defensible, and the rest of the team, Artanis is taking core shot after core shot after core shot. He gets the shield off, but will it be enough? It is not. The Artanis does go down. It's a 2-for-2 trade so far. Keladorn on the Rainer, putting down the damage. CCS has both their DPS alive. Gonna get in, try and get the Mei. The sun goes down onto the Orphea. She does miss the Q, so she does not have the cooldown. Lands the W onto the Rainer. Rainer putting out the Hyperion. Orphea does not miss that Q. She makes sure it hits home, and Rainer goes down from the Mei auto attack. Mei's taking shots from both both the core and the tower. Sylvanas putting down the damage, gets herself to safety, and picks out the kill onto the Mei. It's just the Stukov and the Orphea. We do have Malfurion coming back online. If he can land a root right in the middle of that, oh, I thought he was going to land it, but it will spread and get the Stukov. Unfortunately, Sylvanas just a little bit low. Sonya is here. She does not have leap. She went for that Wrath of the Berserker, so she will have to run, but Sylvanas is getting there. She does take the second Banshees, putting down significant damage. Crushing Jaws go down. It does not connect. Malfurion is here. Orphea is pretty much out of mana. Sylvanas going on the hunt, seeing if she can find the Stukov. Stukov is mounted. She's not quite in auto attack range yet. Artanis is here. The massive shove does miss. It misses, and Sylvanas gets the kill, but here comes the cavalry. Orphea and Artanis are both here. Greymane jumping in for good measure. Sonya, nice 3-man sleep coming out of the Malfurion there to make sure that they get the disengage. But 16s are now online for the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. They are able to pick a fight once Sylvanas gets online, and this is pretty much their backs up are against the wall. The shield is up on the core, 58%. Sonya's got to be on minion duty. They do have this passive push going in the bot lane. As long as they can get the minions pushing in the top lane and get a couple of waves cleared, I would pretty much just say play for halftime, get as many waves cleared as you can while you wait for this Sylvanas to come back online and set up a heroic defense after this phase. This is not the defense phase you want. If they want to do a little burn, that's fine, but do not go and defend. Clear out your lanes, make sure that these minions are not coming in, get another wave cleared up in this top lane, get a few more shots in this bot lane, and play for the halftime show. So they elected to go for a little bit of a burn there. They got the shield a little lower, but any Immortal is going to end this game, whether it has no shield or full shield. So they have to, on this side, ooh, it looks like Bloodbath the Art going for a core call here. Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're like, hey, where are they? They're going for the core. They do see it. They're backing Raynor and Malfurion. The team is coming in. This shield is still fairly healthy, so we'll see if they're able to do it. They've got to find the Greymane. 3-man root coming out of the Malfurion. The silence is going down. The Raynor does get the kill onto the Greymane. Mei will soon follow in tow. Artanis getting very low. Stukov goes down. Orphea had to get zoned off of the Sonya, and that shield was doing so much. Sonya, you can defend. The rest of the team can burn. This is a big play coming out of CCS. Maybe a little bit of a throw coming out of Bloodbath and Beyond. I see the call, but they had the advantage. They just needed to be able to trade up there. So actually very, very good play coming out of CCS, and they will get this burn. And with these long death timers, it's going to siege in this bot lane, and this bot lane will be completely open for at least the fort, if not potentially the keep. We'll see how fast they can get this burn down. Murden and Malfurion going to go over and start getting this camp to try and put some pressure in the top lane. Sonya doing the right thing, getting some wave clear pressure in this bot lane. Raynor and Sylvanas are here. Looks like most of the death timers will be back up, but look at the experience. That 2-level lead is completely negated due to the comeback experience, and we have pretty much an even Steven game. The map pressure favoring Bloodbath and Beyond, but now the Immortal, if they can find a solid play around this Immortal, this could be huge for Can't Counterpick Stupid. They need to find a pick. Artanis is not here. We can see if they can find one last play to get this pick. It's got to be the Greymane or the Stukov or the Orphea. Massive shove is going to send Raynor packing, and he is going way back. 3-man avalanche coming out of the Mei, but they know those timers are dead. The Immortal is still pretty healthy here. If they can find this pick, all ultimates except the Wrath of the Berserker is being channeled right now by the Sonya. If they can find a play, Hyperion being launched by the Raynor, they got the people grouped up on the other side of the wall. Massive shove, not pulling people back as far this time. Stukov silence going down on Sylvanas. Sylvanas getting swapped into the team. Unstoppable as pop. She gets herself to safety, trying to back herself out. Malfurion Roop doing an excellent job zoning people out. The stun going onto the Orphea, and that looks like it will be pretty much it. Mei's gonna try and hunt them down, but Murden can get himself to safety. That's a bottom fort. 20s are not quite online for the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid. They're waiting for their 20s and making sure that they have everybody to defend this 31% core. It's a very low core. There's always the backup or the backdoor potential coming in again, but if they do it the same way they did it last time, I mean, Can't Counterpick Stupid, they have the potential you saw coming out of the Malfurion to get a solid root in there, get the sleeps, and then make sure that everybody is there for the burst burn. Sonya and Raynor both cleared out. They've got to be careful. Sylvanas doing an excellent job not face-checking that bush, sending her Banshees in to scout it out for her. And everybody on the side of Bloodbath and Beyond trying to set up for this siege, maybe trying to force a little bit of a fight. Massive shove, throwing Murden up to the top lane. The rest of CCS are just trying to defend as best they can around this core. They've got to make sure they deal with these siege minions. They don't have to force anything yet, but Murden going in, finds the Greymane. The Crushing Jaws goes down. Sonya is getting blown up. Malfurion coming in with the root onto the Greymane, but everybody's backing up. The Avalanche does miss. They now are under the core. Low health bar sitting all across CCS, but Mei getting rooted out under the core. Malfurion is the first to fall. Raynor putting down as much damage as he can. Sylvanas trying to get into this backline, find the Mei. Hyperion being blown by the Raynor. The Sonya still with the Wrath of Berserker online, is trying to do as much damage, but Murden gonna fall second. Sonya getting a nice massive shove coming out of the Stukov, making sure that engage did not connect from Murden. Sylvanas trying to do, again, everything she can to get this down, but Artanis does go down. Sylvanas unfortunately lands right in the middle of that silence pool. Sonya goes down, and that will finally be GG. Game 1 going in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond. You saw the comeback potential starting to come online for the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid, but they unfortunately just weren't able to find a way to close out that game. I think if they had just forced a fight on that bottom fort, found anything, they potentially could have snowballed that to at least a keep. Maybe a potential game ender. It depends on how well that fight goes, but yeah, I think it's just they were too worried that they had come back so much into this game, and they were like, oh man, now we can't throw it now, and unfortunately weren't able to find the play. Bloodbath and Beyond got back to the siege potential and won that prolonged fight. And as we saw, the team fighting draft definitely favored Bloodbath and Beyond. The race game was kind of even. So the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid, they just needed to find a way to get those picks and find those early kills. And when they got them, it was definitely their comeback potential. But looking at the damage, looking at some of these stats, I mean, Greymane putting out a respectable 67k. He landed a lot of those cursed bullets onto both Sonya and Murden to make sure they weren't as big of a threat and couldn't harass the backline as much as they wanted to. Orphea completely deathless in this game. In that core fight where it was a pretty much wipe, Orphea did get herself away, so she was able to stay safe and put out a pretty solid showing from Orphea. Artanis landing some critical swaps in some of those team fights in the mid game, definitely giving their team a bit of an advantage there. So yeah, major props to that side. Everything coming out looking fairly standard here. Greymane going for that, extra damage on those crowd controlled targets there instead of going for that increased attack speed with the after 3 auto attacks. He gets that a little bit of a steroid where he can just put out some serious damage, which usually pairs fairly well with this talent here at level 20. So if he was going there, you'd think he would have gone with that level 16 talent where he gets increased attack speed to just shred and splash as many targets as he can. So interesting pickup there. I can see the potential with having the Stukov root at 13 that he could do some more damage to those rooted targets or to everybody that Mei slows. Pretty standard. Mei going for a very aggressive build there, but everything else looks pretty standard across the board. Nothing too spectacular. I love this Murden build. I love just aggressive Skullcracker Murdens. It's so fun to see. But Artanis going with the typical Artanis build to survive against the Sonya in the offlane. Really all he needed to play around was this Chrono Surge, and he did an excellent job landing some of those swaps. So GG's for both sides. Let me get you guys over to the map screen so you can kind of see. Ooh, it took a second to load there. What's left available for these two teams while I try and figure out where we're going to head here in map number 2. Looking at potential bans coming out, I mean, both teams didn't necessarily draft heavily for the map. The Raynor and the Greymane are definitely stronger on that map, but they're good in most maps anyway. So the Artanis is really the only thing that I may say will not potentially come out in a second game. But all these other champions definitely are viable on other maps, so we might start seeing a couple of target bans. I mean, the Greymane definitely put on some serious damage there. I don't think the side of Bloodbath and Beyond is going to change really much up about their ban phase, just due to the fact that they had a pretty solid performance, and except for that one fight where they tried to do that core call, they really weren't behind in any of these team fights. But from the side of CCS's view, if you're looking at potential bans, I mean, I think the main targets that you're looking at right now is potentially the Stukov with the crowd control that he could provide to set that Greymane and Orphea up for some pretty easy pickings, and then the Greymane and Orphea as well. Both put on a pretty good showing there in that game one. So my biggest thing is I'm always terrified of a really, really good Orphea player because an Orphea player can put out so much damage so quickly and really turn a fight around almost entirely by herself. So you always got to be aware of the potential Orphea kind of hyper carry show in the late game here. But we are going to go to Braxis holdout here for game number 2. I'm waiting to see which team is the one that ended up selecting it. So Braxis holdout, it's a similar map, 2-lane map again, but different in the fact that now we're fighting over channeling objectives instead of the Immortal, like trying to get some burn onto the Immortal. So, other champions might start to see the light of day, like the Rexar, starts to become a little bit higher on that priority list than a map like Battlefield Eternity, where you can park Misha on the objective and clear out the minion wave as Rexar. Or vice versa, depending on what lane matchup he's going into there. Other champions that are very, very strong in the control point can hold points for a long period of time, like Garrosh can definitely start to make an appearance here in game number 2. Varian with his taunt and that level 10 with his shield will be able to hold a point for a very long time. Megan is up there in that potential with how long she can control and control a point too. Like she can put down that snow blind and make sure if anybody steps in on this objective, this beacon, they're getting rooted kind of deal. So May is another very, very solid pick, but there's also the potential that you have to keep in the back of your mind of champions that can rotate quickly between that bot and top lane. So, in the event that we're worried that, maybe they're going to be losing the bot lane and they want to get up to the top, champions like Hanzo, like Genji, like Brightwing, like Falstead are always X factors that they can quickly transition from one lane to the other and be able to provide that damage down onto the, give that support to the solo laner essentially. So we always have to keep those champions in mind if we'll see those come out or not. Got both teams here sitting in the lobby. Got one person doing a quick bathroom break, but don't worry, I got promise from the players that he will wash his hands when he comes back. So that's always important. Make sure you wash your hands. We got a ready coming out from one team. I'm giving my ready, and we are waiting for the last team to throw out their readies, and we will get into this game number 2. And I've got the countdown 3, 2, 1, and here we go. Game number 2. Let's see if Counterpick Stupid can find a solid pick and draft phase that they will potentially come out with the advantage from the draft here in game number 2. Maybe take the May for themselves here in the second game instead of the Murden, have control over that objective since they do have first pick, kind of steal it away from Bloodbath and Beyond. I don't know a lot of these players in their champion pool, so I don't know if the Garrosh is potentially on the table here. Murden does do an excellent job. He's always a safe tank pick. Like he's kind of good on all maps, so that wouldn't be necessarily a bad pickup here. But we'll see what the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid elects to go. Waiting there full time for this first ban. It was a Chromie in game 1. Chromie does do very good things on Braxis holdout. So okay. So it is going to be the Chromie again in map number 2. Chromie having, again, putting the Sands of Time down over the objective, basically saying, like, I dare you to step on it. And also being able to provide that zoning potential with a pushing Zerg wave. It really makes the team have to commit heavy and be very aware of their positioning when trying to clear out a Zerg wave. Johanna being picked up by this, banned out, not picked up, banned out by the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. I believe that was one of their first bans. I think it was their second ban in game 2, getting bumped up to that first ban priority in game number 2. And now waiting to see if some more wave clear potentially gets banned out, like the Jaina, the Gul'dan, The Kael'thas gets banned out here, or if we go back to those strong tank bans, and the Mei just getting absolutely denied here. Not going to steal it, just going to get rid of it coming out from Can't Counterpick Stupid. Important things to note, like some high meta champions were available and not picked in the last map, like Hogger and Falstead was on a good spot, but his level 1 talent for the Wingman got banned again. So he's no longer able to use that level 1 talent, which kind of made him in that strong spot. But Hogger now getting banned out's kind of like I was speaking of him, and they decided, nope, we don't want to do it. And so Hogger not going to see the Nexus here in game number 2. Now we're just going to see what first pick potential. I mean, we do see champions that are high in the pick priority still. Tassadar wasn't necessarily one I was thinking of. Maybe Keldor just plays a really, really good Tassadar. I was thinking potentially like take the Stukov away because Stukov loves Braxis holdout. Being able to put that giant silence pool down on the beacon or zone people off with it with all the corners. And Kael'thas getting picked up as the second one. That strong AoE clear, being able to use the Phoenix as kind of a I dare you to step near our Zerg wave. Good siege potential coming out of the Kael'thas. So pretty standard pickup here. We'll see if the side of Counterpick Stupid could do a good job at not holding hands this game. But with a Kael'thas and a Stukov, I wonder if we're going to see a potential Nubarak come out here. But we do see the Garrosh. So the Garrosh, being that strong tank, could kind of stand on a point and say, I dare you. Good counter to the Stukov, and the Kael'thas can wait for Stukov to put down his pool and then just charge at him and potentially get the flip. So he's going to make Stukov be very aware of where the Garrosh is. And Cassia going to be able to provide some excellent burst damage down onto whatever target Garrosh says, I want this one dead. Second band's coming out here, second band phase, Bloodbath and Beyond getting rid of the Gazlo. So now we'll probably see some of that focus in the top lane. But the most interesting thing I found, and I was alluding to it with first pick potential, and I never actually finished that thought, was Rexxar was not banned and not picked in the entire first phase. Like, Rexxar is just getting completely ignored right now and doesn't get banned in the second ban phase, which this is like one of two Rexxar's like best maps. So I'm wondering if we're going to see either team still has the potential to pick up the Rexxar. Maybe they're trying to hold on to it to the very last second here, but it's not a lot of champions that do have a really good matchup against the Rexxar. Especially if Bloodbath and Beyond pick it up right now. But they go for the Murden and Lunara. So they're saving that offlaner as the counterplay potential as their last pick. Can be pretty standard here. Want to get that strong pairing in the top lane to make sure that you can just bully the opponent out of the lane. That will make you control the beacon. Lunara going to give that vision, have a little bit of movement speed, but Murden going to be able to hop over walls and, again, be one of those champions that gets from bottom to top very quickly. Brightwing being picked up for the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid as the healer, gonna be able to again get very quickly to the top lane, and D.Va gonna be able to provide either excellent Zerg clear with her explosive mech or excellent zoning potential. And we do see the Artanis being picked up again by Captain Roberts here. Gonna try and see if the Protoss can once again shine in the top lane, get that advantage and press it. D.Va will be able to bull again with the Artanis. He's probably going to get bullied around here in the early game quite a bit. D.Va is going to be able to put some hurt down on the Artanis, but he's got a Murden and a Lunara who can get up there. I definitely like the draft that is coming out from Counterpick Stupid a little more in this game too. I think that Bloodbath and Beyond has a great answer to like a Zerg wave and great point control, but I think Garrosh gets the nod over the Murden for point control, especially with just how inherently tanky he can be. The good news is Lunara and Kael'thas both have spell damage, so that armor that Garrosh gets isn't going to be as big a factor. But the Tassadar and Cassia, they can't burn through Murden as quickly as like a Tychus, who I believe was available and didn't get picked up there. They did pick their DPS early, so it would be weird to see a Tychus third pick, although they could have thrown Tassadar up in the top lane and just said farm. But I definitely do like a little more what I'm seeing out of CCS here in this game number 2 as far as their draft. I feel like it's a little more well-rounded, has the potential that we saw in that game 1, where if they can get themselves together, they could definitely make fun things happen here on this second map. But give your shout-outs in chat, throw up your flair for your team you're supporting here. If you're fans of Can't Counterpick Stupid, I want to see CCSs all over the place. If you're a fan of Bloodbath and Beyond, throw that triple B out into the chat. Let's get these teams introduced for game number 2. On the blue side, we got Can't Counterpick Stupid. We got Keldorn on the Tassadar, Wits End on the Brightwing, Madathi sitting on the Cassia, Valkymer sitting on that Garrosh, and in the top lane we got Osprey on the Diva. Meanwhile, on the red side, we got Bloodbath and Beyond. We got Punk RK Pirate sitting on that Kael'thas, Play Gamer on the Murden, Rackham sitting on the Stukov, Wraithling sitting on the Lunara, and in the top lane, showing it again, Captain Roberts on the Artanis on his cool little surfboard. And here we go into the bot lane. Talents being picked up. Murden going for that same stacking build. Kael'thas going for the mana. Garrosh going for the extra throwing range on the E. So going to try and launch some people over walls here in this game number 2. Instead of going for the stacking Q. Diva... or Cassie going for that infinite scaling Q quest, getting that poked out, but Tassadar getting very low here in the beginning. Stukov getting thrown back into tower range. Cassie putting down some hurt, but she doesn't have her engaged. She already used it, and so Stukov able to get himself to safety. A lot of slapping back and forth going on. People getting low, but Murden sitting very low. Valkymer able to get him interrupted on his second wind, but Stukov is there to pop the heal, and everybody pretty much getting full health again. But Kael'thas is going to start enjoying picking up this globe in the bot lane. Sitting on 2 globe stacks so far, wanting to get as many as he possibly can. Artanis going for the stacking passive quest. Ooh, Kael'thas, nice throw onto the Kael'thas. Cassia not able to put down quite enough damage. Tassadar did wall the rest of the team away from the Kael'thas, so he is able to survive. But Artanis going for that stacking passive, going to be able to just get more and more damage the longer this game goes. He is going to be able to slap Diva around. Diva won't have as much damage as a Seismic Slam Sonya, but she will be able to have that, double life essentially with the baby Diva, and she will be able to start getting a little more damage. But already both channels being picked up by Bloodbath and Beyond, and Can't Counterpick Stupid going for the objective here. Garrosh landing a 4-man knockup, so they're picking up the objective camp, going for that siege camp instead of getting fighting over this beacon here. So that's a 50% beacon already picked up, and now Murden's like, I'm gonna stand on this. I dare you to try and take it away from me. It's up to 64% already. Nice pickup by the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. They'll be able to clear out this minion wave no problem at all, and we'll see if Artanis is able to have as successful of time in the top lane. Diva trying to be very careful. She's got Artanis kind of where she wants him. She just needs to be able to get that mech back online, and then Artanis is going to be in a really rough spot. Artanis, meanwhile, he's trying to find the kill to make sure that he can continue to put pressure in the top lane. He does not want Diva getting back in that mech, so we'll see how that goes. Garrosh throwing the Murden away, using it as a disengage rather than engage, and now they have to run. Murden getting the stun onto the Tassadar. Kael'thas landing that gravity lapse, and Tassadar is sitting fairly low, should survive this. Oh, he's got a second bomb. Or sorry, it's the Lunara passive bleed. I'm getting thrown off here because they've got the bleed and the living bomb, so we got to make sure one is once the bomb explodes that it is just the Lunara bleed rather than a second bomb explosion coming out. But the objective being picked up here by the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. Gonna finish this off, and the one thing to note, the side of Can't Counterpick Stupid, they don't have the greatest wave clear. Bloodbath and Beyond is definitely in the wave clear advantage with the Kael'thas and the Lunara. Cassie and Tassadar don't have the best wave clear. Diva can with her bomb, but her bomb's not available, so if they push with this top lane, they're electing to pick this camp up instead of pushing with the minion wave. So this is gonna be some pretty good minion wave clearing in the top lane with the Cassia and the Tassadar. The rest of the team now kind of coming up, doing a 3-2 split. Gonna go defend the Zerg wave in the bottom, see if they can get a push going in the bot lane. The towers do fall, but the Guardian's able to throw some more Zerg down, Tantalus in the swap onto the Garrosh. Captain Roberts getting very low. Aggressive swap coming out. Murden able to get himself to safety, and now they can just push past to get the Guardian. So the entire wall is pretty much picked up there. This minion camp not being able to push in too heavily here in the bot lane. CCS coming out with a pretty good defense there. Able to get the defense and be able to pick up a kill in it as well. And now we see, oh, I thought they were going to aggressively rotate through here, but electing to go and just kind of clear out some of these minion waves. Murden going to start getting their siege camp. So CCS, they got an experience lead even though they lost the first objective. So, you know, good on them for being able to find their way around that, getting that first blood experience. And Tassadar going to clear out this bot lane, start creating some passive pushing here in the bot lane. But this camp, again, we saw CCS last game. They weren't picking up their siege camp on the Battlefield of Eternity. We're missing the timers on it, and they're not picking up their bruiser camp here in the top lane quite yet. As long as this minion wave, you know, they get a quick push out of this minion wave with the Tassadar, they can just rotate up and go grab that camp, but they haven't quite decided to do so yet. Meanwhile, Bloodbath and Beyond in that first game, they were getting their camps on a timer, doing a really good job with that, and that's pretty much what they want to keep doing here in game 2. Kael'thas getting very aggressive with his positioning, but the stun onto the Garrosh prevented him from going up and throwing the Kael'thas, and Kael'thas kind of being like, oops, I don't want to be in this neighborhood, backs himself out with the Stukov, and everything kind of goes back to the way it was. Tassadar and Cassia going to go start up this siege camp in the bot lane. D.Va coming down to give some support. She pushed out that top lane, so Artanis is going to, you know, start to call out, hey, I haven't seen D.Va for a while. With the camp picked up, D.Va going to go rotate up. They should go pick up this bruiser camp. Nope. Okay, they're going back bot lane. They're going to push with the siege camp. These guys are lonely, man. They're like, hey, we want to do something. But in the bot lane, we've got the entire side of CCS pushing in with this siege camp. Unfortunately, the Lunara and the Kael'thas are very good zoning potential. It's got to be the Garrosh being the one to go in. Throws the minion on accident. Ooh, a nice gravity lapse coming out of the Kael'thas. Murden saw it and follows up, and that is a dead Brightwing. Could they get the turnaround kill onto the Murden? It doesn't look like it. Indomitable popped by the Garrosh, getting himself to safety there. Stukov putting out that lurking arm and getting the slow, but not able to get any sort of follow-up with that E. It will be a little more deadly at 13 when he gets that root with the paired with the lurking arm. But Kael'thas, ooh, he lands a perfect gravity lapse on the Cassia. Cassia is just absolutely obliterated. I mean, I didn't have vision turned off for Fog of War, but Kael'thas doing just an excellent timing there, throwing out the gravity lapse, catching Cassia while she rounded the corner and just absolutely blew her up with the Murden. So good timing. They're getting a lot of channeling here. Again, D.Va having a tough time against this Artanis in the top lane. Tassadar getting caught all the way out here, trying to get himself to safety, and should be able to do so. Brightwing coming in with the assist, being like, I got you, buddy. But this is another 100% pickup in the favor of Bloodbath and Beyond. This is going to be a massive Zerg wave in the bot lane. This fort will definitely fall due to the lack of wave clear coming out from the side of CCS. Garrosh getting thrown in the gravity lapse and getting himself very low. The Phoenix going to zone everybody off. 10s are online for the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. Lunara going for that leaping strike. Kael'thas going for the Phoenix. Massive shove coming out of the Stukov. The suppression coming out of Artanis, and Avatar being popped by the Muradin. 10s are still waiting to be online by the side of CCS, defending at this keep, and they should do a good job defending around this keep here in the bot lane. The Living Bomb is not spreading quite yet. Garrosh being aggressive, but the massive shove coming out. 10's now online for the side of CCS. Cassia going for that ball of lightning. Decimate coming out of the Garrosh instead of the Warlord challenge. Throws the Stukov. That Stukov is gone, and now Garrosh able to get that pick for his team. D.Va using the micro missiles, going aggressive on the rest of the team here, pushing past the minions. Brightwing sitting fairly low, but D.Va does get the knockback onto the Kael'thas. Will Cassia be able to follow up? She jumps in, but unfortunately gets displaced by, I believe it was the Muradin, and now the counter engage potential coming out. Artanis unfortunately missing the swap. Definitely would have cemented the kill on the Tassadar, but a pickup of 1 kill going in favor of CCS. I believe the only ultimates we didn't call were the Blink Heal by the Brightwing coming out and the Archon coming from the Tassadar. And that will pretty much round out the ultimate selection coming out for both teams. Bloodbath and Beyond going for the boss play here. Pretty aggressive call. Nobody on Can't Connect Suns has caught it out here. They're behind on their camp potential. Garrosh now going in to scout it out, sees it, but that boss is done, and Garrosh has to run himself to safety, pops the Indomitable to make sure he can get himself away, but this camp, again, not picked up. D.Va has her ultimate online. If she can get a good position, this could be a fight for the side of Can't Connect Stuns. They have pretty decent positioning. Garrosh getting himself fairly low. Swap goes onto the Tassadar into the backline. D.Va is not here. She went up to go clear the boss instead of helping out the team. Everybody getting themselves to safety. Cassia 1v1ing the Lunar does pick up the kill there. Meanwhile, Artanis trying to finish off this Archon Tassadar, gets the kill, so it's a 1-for-1 trade so far. D.Va has her full mech. Can she get this for a zone? Brightwing is seeing this Artanis. The Garrosh is just using the decimates over and over. A massive burst coming out of the Cassia here. She's trying to get the kill. That is the Stukov. That is the Tassadar. D.Va still holding on to the mech bomb. The top fort does go down there. But again, pretty good pickup by the side of CCS. It looked a little chaotic there for a second, like they weren't sure what they were going to do. But then Garrosh and Cassia kind of popped off for that burst damage and were able to get those 2 kills. And that really swung things in favor for Counterpick Stupid. Now they will go up and get their camp. They're still not quite at the 13, behind about a half level. They can get some of this soak here and make sure that they get the experience. This camp will help negate a little bit of that experience, but 12.5, they need to find some way to get those 13s. I think they want to. There's no real pressure to get the 13s. Murden jumping over the wall. D.Va not able to. Nice stun by the Murden to make sure D.Va could not use her mech explosion. And then Kael'thas throwing down the Phoenix to just completely zone off this D.Va. D.Va's like, I don't know what to do here. I'm really stuck. Garrosh getting very low. Brightwing running away, bleeding out from the Lunara, but the swap landing from the Tassadar. The bouncing ball goes down. That is a kill on to the Brightwing and Garrosh. Meanwhile, Cassia able to pick up the Artanis here. D.Va finally got back inside of her mech. She found a way to get herself stacked back up. Does have the bomb available, electing to just get herself away and find another day to use that mech. But man, oh man, did D.Va really get put in a rough spot there. Got a great timing from the Murden to land the stun to make sure D.Va couldn't explode her mech in the position she was in. And then Kael'thas using the Phoenix to zone her escape. So she was like, guys, I'm stuck. I really can't walk out because I'm baby D.Va and they will just blow me up. So I'm just going to hang out here for a second, you know, pop my shots over as often as I can and wait for my abilities to come back up, get my mech back. But this is going to be potentially another fully channeled Zerg wave coming out of Bloodbath and Beyond. Can't Counterpick Stupid are definitely battling back here in game 2, but Garrosh getting caught out here. There's no way he's surviving that. That is absolutely devastating. Will D.Va? Yes, she does deactivate this top, so it's going to buy time for the Garrosh to come back, but that's really all it's doing. It's just stalling out. Meanwhile, the side of Bloodbath and Beyond are going to start sieging up this bot keep and get some serious damage down. Unfortunately, the Zerg wave is in the top lane. Otherwise, this could have been a game-ending Zerg wave. D.Va pinging out, let's go. Garrosh is not here yet. Massive shove coming out for the disengage. It's a 5v4. Can't Counterpick Stupid do not have the numbers, but they do have some sort of damage down to the Murden. If D.Va can keep this mech alive, she's going in. She's going to bleed out here. If she can get to Brightwing, Brightwing can keep that mech alive. Nope. And D.Va gets herself into baby D.Va form, not popping the ultimate. She's got to get up here and get some stacks up so she can blow that Zerg wave up. Meanwhile, the rest of the team gonna try and defend this bottom keep. It's a 5-man push by Bloodbath and Beyond. Captain Robert's getting zoned off from the rest of this team. D.Va is here, so nobody's addressing the Zerg wave in the top lane. Bloodbath and Beyond just fully disengaging here. Garrosh now going up to commit to it, but Garrosh, literally one of the weakest champions. He does have Decimate, but that's only going to do so much. D.Va is here. The rest of the team now coming up, but Brightwing getting swapped in the bot lane by the Artanis. They just backed up, waited for everybody to commit to the Zerg wave, and then re-engaged, and we're seeing a really good push coming out of the side of Bloodbath and Beyond here in Game 2. Both keeps have fallen. Now can the Counterpick Stupid do it again? Can they defend the core and find that ace? They are getting in there. Everybody's sitting fairly low. The Tassadar does get the burst damage down. Garrosh sitting fairly low. Throws the Artanis to safety. Bouncing balls are continuing to connect. That is a second pickup. Kael'thas sitting fairly low. Lunara using the leaping strike. Cassie getting protected with the Fend. She's trying to get in and provide any type of damage. Kael'thas going to get soloed out by the D.Va there. Meanwhile, Stukov and Lunara are able to get the kill on the Tassadar and the Cassia. We do have Brightwing here. She's sitting. She's waiting, deciding where she wants to go, and now decides to come out and join the rest of the fight. The core got down to 96. I'm guessing that was just a Lunara bleed. And that was a very, very big push coming out of Bloodbath and Beyond. I thought they were just going to get one keep. They ended up getting both. So that was a pretty good push coming out from them to be able to, say, hey, fight us here. Can't count. CCS were like, do we do it? Do we not? Do we do it? Do we not? Kind of make sure, being a little indecisive there, and then ended up backing off to go deal with the other camp, and then Brightwing got swapped in by the Artanis. Artanis landed in that huge swamp, and was able to do so in game one. Murden popped the avatar and like, let's go, I'm ready to brawl. This is a fight that the side of CCS actually really wants. Cassia putting down so much damage with that bouncing ball. Murden gets himself to safety. Tassadar is sitting fairly low, but Lunara sitting very low as well. Cassia thrown all the way in, wanting to continue to be aggressive here. The boss is aggroed onto the Lunara, and everybody gets away. Man, I thought they were going to get a pick or two there. Now Garrosh has to get back. They got to just go ahead and clear out their own minion waves. This is going to cause a little bit of a problem. They got to send somebody like Brightwing or D.Va. Brightwing does have her passive backup, I believe. She did use the teleport in, but they got to keep somebody on the vision. Garrosh is heading back. He's looking into it, but look at this absolutely shredding of the boss. The boss doesn't end, but it's got to get sieged up. So we got to get a push out in one of these lanes. D.Va and Brightwing either have to push out this top lane really hard. Boss is going to the top lane. This has got to get addressed in the bot lane. And the camps are just getting painted red by the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. The amount of macro pressure that is building up is absolutely devastating. They're not going to be able to handle this or this. There's just no way they can leave their base with all of the minions that are pushing in right now. The boss at full health hasn't even come in, and now he's making his grand debut. Meanwhile, Kael'thas able to get that second channel off, and this is really going to be tough for the side of CCS. They've got to do a very, very good defense here. They've got to get this boss dealt with, but they also got to find the pick somehow, some way. D.Va getting thrown out of her mech again, doesn't get the explosion. Brightwing goes down. The Garrosh sitting fairly low and trying to do everything. Cassia jumping in there, putting the bouncing balls down, trying to put some damage down, but this core is absolutely shredding. Artanis somehow lives with like no health. Cassia goes down. Garrosh goes down as well. Tassadar able to get the pick on the Artanis, but trades his life away for it, and that is game number 2 going in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond. That was just so much macro pressure to deal with there at the end of that game that it was really tough for CCS to have any way to deal with that amount of damage. Good job ramping that up for the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. I thought we were potentially, for a second there, that we may be sending over to a game number 3. Cassia was definitely putting out the damage. Like, a lot of damage was coming out of that Cassia player. But just unfortunately, they got picked a couple times. A couple good swaps coming in from Artanis, to be sure. And yeah, that was really the story of that last half of the game, was all of those swaps. It was just a little difficult. Thank you, Emorin and Keo Moonlight, for the follows. Definitely appreciate it. Welcome. Enjoy your stay. We've got lots more Heroes action coming up in the weeks ahead. We're only halfway through this season, and we are having a ball. But let me message my victors here and see if we can get a potential interview. Let me see, got to make sure I message the right individual here. Captain of the team of Bloodbath and Beyond. And I'm just going to kind of go hang out with in a Discord lobby in NGS and wait to see if they come in. But that was pretty good play coming out of Bloodbath and Beyond in the second half of that game, to be sure. They had a very good macro game. The one thing I definitely think was in their favor in that game, number 2, was the amount of macro pressure they were able to create. Oh, hello.
Hi, friend.
Hello, friend. Welcome. Congratulations. This is, for everybody wondering, this is Punk RK Pirate. Is that how you say it? Just
Coming at you, bro. Punk Rock Pirate.
Punk Rock Pirate. There you go. Punk Rock Pirate. The Artanis, or no, sorry, not the Artanis. What am I talking about? The Kael'thas, and who are you in game 1?
Orphea.
Orphea. The Orphea player. So mage player coming out of Blood, Bath, and Beyond. Like I used to think about like, oh yeah, who was I in game one?
Well, I
Congratulations though.
usually take Tassadar, so I had to think about it.
Yeah. How's the team feeling right now?
Oh, solid.
Solid.
Team
I
play
like
is solid
solid.
right now.
I mean, you guys came in.
I
It
wish
looked
you could
like it
hear
was
our conversations, like our comms. They are amazing this season.
like on point, like really crisp and clean kind of deal.
Yes.
Oh, hey, communication is one of the most important things in this game. So if you guys got that down, I mean, it definitely showed in this game with a lot of the rotations you guys were having, and getting those camps on as clean at timers as you had them. It was very well done. But it looked like this was going to be a pretty close series. Both teams sitting fairly even in the rankings, but you guys definitely brought your A game. Why don't we talk about a little bit of that game one? We went to Battlefield of Eternity. You guys picked the map both times actually, but you guys picked Battlefield of Eternity. How did you guys decide to go into the band strategy and then build your composition?
So Battlefields of Eternity, we tried to build burn, but for our bands, we do a little scouting to see what might affect the team composition we want to play, and sometimes we take into account like heroes we don't want to play against, and if the opposite team plays those heroes we don't want to play against. So there's a lot into our draft and ban phase that we take into consideration. It's kind of play by ear.
I was gonna say you guys you had the burn potential with the Artanis and the
Right.
Greymane, had a lot of burn, but you also had a very solid team fighting composition as well, with like the May and the Stukov being able to provide a lot of crowd control. And you guys put a lot of priority on that Stukov. Was that always the plan going into tonight? Was like, hey, if we get Stukov, let's take him right away because we really want to use that guy.
Yeah, we've got really strong Stukovs on our team, and it really worked out our game one. It was kind of frustrating to play against the Malfurion Silence and Roots.
Yeah, he landed, especially that one at the core where you guys made the core call, and that was where I was going to go with that next question. Like, instead of going for the second half of the Immortal Burn phase, electing to go for the sneaky core call that got scouted out, what happened there?
So we thought that we might have had enough damage to just rip it. Turns out we didn't.
I mean, very simple answer.
We had to try.
Yeah, I mean, once you committed as hard as you all did, it's like, all right, we're in it to win it, right here. But
yeah,
didn't kind of
my harebrained call. I probably shouldn't have done that, but I'm glad everybody came.
Yeah, I mean the team, like you said, working on communication. Everybody followed, and everybody was committed. I noticed you skedaddled there at the end of the fight.
Big skedaddle.
Big skedaddle coming out. It's like, nope, you guys are dying. I'm out of here. Peace. But how'd you? Then you guys just kind of recollected yourselves, and were like, okay, they evened up the experience. Like that closed the experience gap. I think you had like a level and a half.
We started that. I think they were 13 and we were 16, and then we ended it. It was like 18-18.
Yeah. So
from hero kill.
I mean, at that point, experience gap nullified. You knew you had both keeps. Were you guys feeling a little bit worried because they got the rest of the Immortal and they started pushing the bot lane with about 3/4 shield Immortal at level, I think it was like 18, 19. So it's pretty hefty Immortal. And you guys were kind of like trickling back in. What was going through the team strategy at that point?
That's what we were saying was all we got to do is survive the Immortal. And that's what we did. We just backed up, let the Immortal do its thing, clear itself. And then we realized that the lane clear was our win condition. So we just tried to keep lane pressure on top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So every time we would be able to get a little bit of damage at a camp or a little bit of damage on the Immortals, they would have lane pressure against their core. So they would be forced to back.
Yeah.
Or fight, but lose damage on their core.
Exactly. And they couldn't really risk it with the 38% they had left.
For a while, but then it was a checkmate with both keeps gone.
So game one went pretty well. Had a little bit of a speed bump there in the mid game, but smoothed it out over the course of the rest of the game. And then getting into the draft of game two, you guys get map pick again. Send us to Brax's Holdout. Similar but different map. Now we're fighting over objective in 2 lanes instead of just everybody grouping up and smacking each other. And your guys' draft come out. You put the priority again immediately on the Stukov, wanting him right away, almost insta-locking it. And then build this kind of like very methodical, slow, let's get camps, let's just siege them up. We've got the Murden to just sit on the point and be like, come at me, bro. And then going with the Artanis again in the top lane against the Diva matchup. What was going into the strategy? You knew that they had a pretty good a better team comp for fighting you guys for sure coming out of their team. Garrosh obviously being that pick potential. So how did you guys kind of approach this game two, knowing that the team fights might not go as heavily in favor in game two?
So we tried to bait out a lot of the Garrosh Toshes with Muradin so he could just bounce back. Um, and we had lots of follow up from the Muradin stun. So Muradin would call out a stun, we'd follow it up. Landed lots of silences and gravity lapses on his stun. And
And
so that's kind of what we tried to prioritize.
and then yeah, getting down to that last play, um, you know, both keeps are online. You guys are gonna have a Zerg wave in one lane, and you elect to go for the greedy. Let's just push both lanes out and see if we can get both keeps. It almost didn't look like it worked, but then it did. And then instead of just disengaging, you guys try and hang around for a potential another core fight, then eventually disengage. So how did you guys decide after you got the keeps? Like, how are you going to end that game out?
So that one was another slow one. Like we'd go in, and when we first tried for core, like we were literally just trying for core. It turned out that all we could do was just poke it out. So we poked it, tried to survive, got a camp, got boss, got camp, got back to like objectives, and like at the end there, we realized that we had huge lane pressure, and we also had the objective. So it was just all in at the cores because that was the win condition or the checkmate.
Mm-hmm. It looked like that, like you said, that slow, methodical, just kind of let them bleed for a little bit, just out macro them, grab all the camps, paint it red, and then go in for the kill kind of deal.
Yeah, we really got a lot of value off the Lunara Wisp, honestly. That got us a lot of the ganks and stopped or like let us or where made us aware of their rotations upon us. So that was really nice to have that Wisp around.
Yeah, definitely getting some good vision coming out of Lunar for sure, and damage, putting out a respectable 45k. Like
Yeah.
she was putting down some hurt too. But so that I mean that's really all the questions I had about the game. It was game two was a little bit closer, but it still looked like you guys your macro game was just a little bit better, and were able to utilize that to find the fights that you wanted. Tell me real quick, who do you think your team MVP was for the series?
Artanis, Captain Roberts. He got
Roberts,
some slick swaps. His
absolutely.
wife will be proud.
Yeah, he was on point with a couple of those swaps to be sure in game one and game two. I was definitely loving it. That Brightwing catch in the bot lane on Braxis was
Yeah,
oh,
you should have heard us.
it was
Whoa!
it was glorious. That was just absolutely beautiful to see. And I think in the first game, all of his swaps were on the DPS. I don't think he ever really swapped a tank, so that was
Nope.
really good to see. But uh, last but not least, I'm going to kind of just open it up to you. The floor is yours. Give any shout outs. It looks like we got some shout outs coming from Wraithling about he wants to say hi to his mom. So, hi, mom.
Hi,
But
everything's
any shout
mom.
outs you want to give? Floor is yours. You got a lot of fans in Twitch chat. So, have at it.
Yeah, I'm glad that everybody came to watch the show. It's always fun to play the game. It's a game that we love. Obviously, we're playing it, casting it, streaming it, all the stuff. So, thanks for watching and participating. It makes the game more fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, enjoy. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. Go celebrate with the team. You guys are pretty hyped up and moving up the rankings. That was a pretty good win for you guys. A nice domination, getting 3 points for your team. So you're gonna bump on up there and make your playoff run that much more exciting. But thank you so much for Punk Rock Pirate for joining me tonight. Congratulations again on the win, and hopefully I'll get to catch you guys again down the road.
Yeah, thanks for the cast. Pew, pew,
Absolutely.
pew.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Punk RK Pirate coming in, giving a solid interview, giving the nod to Artanis, which, if you were here for the whole game, you could see those swaps. They were a thing of beauty, watching everybody just getting thrown into the mix and melted in that blender of a composition that they had in game one, and pretty close to that in game number two. Looking at chat to see if I missed anything. I mean, we got to give shout outs to Wraithling's mom. He wants to make sure mom knows that he's on TV. So, or I guess, on Twitch TV. So shout out to Wraithling's mom, to be sure. Good games, both team. Bloodbath Beyond came out, played a solid game. Can't counterpick stupid. They definitely were fighting back tooth and nail. Just weren't able to kind of put it all together when it mattered most. But that's why we play the regular season, to kink out all those little mistakes. So when we get to playoff time, it's a whole new ball game, and we make the run for the championship. But that's going to be it for me tonight. Looking at my cast coming forward, forward. I'm not casting tomorrow night. Thursday night, there's been a couple more games added, so I might pick up one of the later games there. It'll be at like 8 o'clock again. That's usually when I start to cast. So one of those 8 o'clock games I may pick up. So check back here Thursday night at 8 o'clock, see if I'm throwing one of those up. And then I will not be casting this weekend going out. So I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break over the weekend, and we'll pick it back up again in week number 6. So as far as me and my shots go, thank you all so much for the follows. We got a ton of people following. If you didn't follow and you love HOTS action, be sure to drop that follow. I cast a lot of NGS games here this season, usually the late night games. So you can come over, check some of that NGS action here on the Twitch chat. For those that did follow, thank you much. All the people that subscribed tonight, I mean, that was absolutely awesome. Thank you all so much for the subscriptions. Definitely appreciate it. Don't worry, your emotes are coming very soon. And I always appreciate, like I said, always appreciate the donation. All funds go to my kids' college fund. So that'll be a lot of fun. He's 3, so I got plenty of time to do this to make sure that I can get it done before he's 18. So don't worry, we got plenty of time and lots more heroes coming your way. But as far as tonight, that's it for me. I'm gonna see if anybody else is still going real fast. I think I was the last game for tonight. So double check, make sure nobody else is streaming, which I don't believe they are. Oh, you guys don't want to hear. That was double bad. I just want to go twitch.tv, not twitch.tv/my channel, because then you're going to hear me twice. And that's no good. Yeah, I think everybody is pretty much done for the night. Looks like all the games for NGS have ended. So I'm just going to end the stream here. Have a fantastic night, everybody. Hopefully, I catch you in the Nexus one of these times, either in a Storm League or an ARAM. Thank you to those people who made sure that I stayed hydrated during this cast tonight by cashing